is having a good day so far. We're here until 2 o'clock. This is Three Man Front. I'm Pat Landrum, Molly, Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. A lot of basketball talk today. We'll also dive back into the legal mess that is NCAA eligibility. No, the Bediako stuff is in the rearview mirror. That is done. But as we speak in Pittsboro, Mississippi, a little hamlet of 137 population in Calhoun County, they are right now broadcasting live across the great state of Mississippi the Trinidad Chambliss eligibility hearing against the NCAA. What a difference a week makes, whereas you can't take cell phones in Tuscaloosa courtroom. Nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors. But meanwhile, the whole state of Mississippi gets to watch this unfold live on your laptop or your television, whichever you desire.
A little bit different. Feel like this one could go a little bit differently than, or a lot differently than Charles Bediako's. Are they letting Ole Miss fans go into the courtroom, bring their own coolers and tailgate chairs?
No, not that much, but they are sitting the media in the jury box.
Ha!
That is correct.
That's awesome.
I'm sitting here watching it on one of my screens on my laptop, and Joe Judge has already been sworn in.
Joe Judge. Not
Joe Judge.
So the judge has sworn in Joe Judge.
That is correct. Joe Judge, the assistant coach for the Ole Miss Rebels, he has been sworn in. So,
well, make sure you tell the truth. Make sure you tell the truth, Joe.
So right now they are debating tonsillitis. I'm not lying. I'm sitting here watching a doctor. That is
Trinidad, when you had tonsillitis, how much ice cream did you consume in a 3-day period?
Because if you're asking why are they discussing this, it's because Ferris State says he lost the job because of competition. It was not because of his health. But Trinidad Chambliss has doctors and medical reports that state that he had chronic tonsillitis that caused him problems and issues at Ferris State. That's why he did not play. But Ferris State, some folks are saying that it was because of competition.
Let's compare the film. I want to know who replaced him at Ferris State. How did somebody beat him out at Ferris State? Well, I guess according to Trinidad Chambliss, it was because he was suffering from tonsillitis. But, yeah, this one, that's the thing. How are you going to prove? So the onus is on Trinidad Chambliss's camp, if I remember one of the many legal cases that we have on the docket right now. They had to prove just tonsillitis. They had to get some kind of medical record that he had tonsillitis and it prevented him from playing, right?
Or whether it's tonsillitis or whether he tweaked his knee or hurt his back or whatever the case may be.
And he can't get anybody to do that?
No, they've turned in all the documentation at the NCAA. And see, the reason why this is no different than the Bediako is because Ole Miss has already asked multiple times, can he be eligible to play? And the NCAA says, no, he's not eligible to play. He's done. Just like Alabama asked Bediako, could he play more basketball? And the NCAA said no. And Bediako said, well, I'm going to take you to court, and I'm going to get a temporary restraining order, which he got. And then he was looking for a permanent order, which he was denied. This today in Mississippi is a permanent order. This is not a temporary thing. So Tom Mars is there. I mean, all the big guns are there. I mean, this is happening.
So if Judge rules in favor of Trinidad Chambliss, that is middle finger, and
he's playing.
Hey, he's going to play next year.
He is playing.
We'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. The NCAA, I'm sure they'll appeal it to the Mississippi Supreme Court, maybe another circuit court, whatever the case may be. But no, this is just like if Bediako would have been given the okay, then it would have been probably months and months and months of trying to get it back in front of another court to try to get it appealed. This in Mississippi, don't know if you'll get an answer today, might be tomorrow, might be next week, whatever the case may be. That's the difference between what happened in Tuscaloosa on Monday to what's happening now over in Pittsboro, Mississippi.
Well, this would be, if I'm estimating, this is probably a $3 to $5 million decision that the court's going to be making for Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah, there is. So earlier this morning, in some conversations in the courtroom, folks that are in the media that's sitting in the jury box, they are saying that his deal is between $5 and $6 million. So we'll keep you updated.
I've seen enough, and I know what other guys are getting paid. Pay him every penny.
So it is interesting. So you've got that going on this morning. Tomorrow, the Joey Aguilar case will be in front of a judge. We will go up to Knoxville and talk to Vince Ferrara a little bit later on in the program, get his feelings on the possibility of Joey Aguilar coming back for another season. So interesting times.
What was his gripe again? Just to refresh on Aguilar, what was he stating? Why he needed the extra year?
It was the whole JUCO thing.
The JUCO thing. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit different.
It's just a lot. Sorry, I'm having to ask for recall here, but
well, and in the lawsuit it said it would deprive. What was it? It would deprive Tennessee of a great quarterback or something like that.
That is correct. Meanwhile, what Tom Mars is trying to prove with Trinidad Chambliss is that if you do not allow him to play, my client is going to lose $6 million.
yeah,
because even if he were to be drafted in the NFL, he is not going to have a 1-year contract of $6 million.
No,
because he'll be a 3rd or 4th round pick.
Correct.
Is that what they're projecting?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole, of course,
I'd
Shadur
take
Sanders
a flyer on him in the second. But
Shadur was pushed all the way back deep into the draft, and his total deal is what, $5 million or less than $5 million?
Yeah, something like that.
So that's what Tom Mars is trying to prove with Trinidad Chambliss.
Well, we looked it up, and I think it was last year. If you didn't go in the top half of the first round, you weren't going to be making $6 million a year. It's not even a first-round pick. Are you a top 15 pick?
right.
From a money standpoint.
Well, and Trinidad Chambliss has not signed. He has not signed anything with the NFL, right? To this point.
No.
Did he? We were talking about the combine. I guess you don't get invited to the combine if you're not registering for the draft, even if you're a potential.
That's the way I understood
prospect. Yeah.
Only so many spots.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to go Trinidad Chambliss's way. If it doesn't, then I feel sorry for that judge.
Who, Joe or the judge?
The judge. Presiding judge.
Wouldn't it be funny if his name was Joe? You had Joe Judge and Judge Joe.
Not the assistant coach,
Yeah.
Joe Judge. Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted from Mississippi, and then tomorrow we'll be in Knoxville. So we'll see if those attorneys had better luck than Charles Bediaco's attorneys. Bediaco was not in Oxford, Mississippi last night. His former teammates, they got a big win against the Ole Miss Rebels. One of the ugliest looking first halves you're ever going to see in college basketball. It was putrid. But Bama comes out in the second half. They play good basketball. They win 93-74. The Tide led 32-30 at the halftime. They were shooting 25% from the field. That's how bad it was the first 20 minutes. But Alabama comes out. Latrell Wrightsell, man, he had a great second half.
Oh, yeah.
Hits 6 3-pointers. The team hits 12 3-pointers. They scored 61 points in the second half against the Rebels. The Tide shot 53% from the field in the second half.
The first half went exactly like Chris Beard drew it up. That's the kind of game that Ole Miss wanted to play. But if Alabama can do, you look at the second half against Auburn, how many points did they score? 50-something?
Mm-hmm.
Then last night scoring 61. If this can become a second half team, look out.
Yeah. Hitting those outside shots is big. You don't need to have those two twin towers down low when you can shoot from 20 feet from outside. But the big story after the game was something that Nate Oates brought up, in which, we kind of been speculating on this show that, you had Golden run his mouth. At first you had Stephen Pearl give a quick snarly comment about Bediaco, and then he kind of walked that back a little bit. He had Bucky McMillan run his mouth this week about Bediaco. And we're going to play for you in a minute, but John Calipari has now chimed in on the situation. But Nate Oates last night, before he even started talking about the game, he wanted to express his appreciation to Ole Miss coach Chris Beard.
Drive over yesterday afternoon, I get a call from Coach Beard. Oates, Beard. It's like, hey, I said, what's up? He goes, is Bediaco with you? I said, no, we decided to leave him home. We didn't want him to have to go through the stuff he's had to go through on the road. And he said, look, I assure you that's not happening here. I've already met with the cheering section. Everything's going to be positive here. You won't get any of that here. So major respect to him for that. And then he said, I also got something I want you to give him. And he came to our shoot-around last night, handed me a note that I've kind of opened, took a picture, sent it to Charles. I'll give it to him in person when we get back. It was one of the most classy notes to a kid from an opposing coach, and it doesn't happen often, but one of the classiest moves I've ever seen. And he didn't do it to get any recognition, and that's not, he assumed I would just hand it to Charles, be it. But it basically, on the other side of adversity and difficulty is what fuels you on to success, and wish him success. He's pulling for him. You know, it's not his fault that the rules are, that there's no clarity in the rules. And I thought it was a extremely well-written, thoughtful thing for an opposing coach to do that understands that we're still coaching young men, and this is not a object we're dealing with. It's a young man with a basketball career in front of him, with an educational career in front of him, and Coach Beard understands it, and you guys are super lucky to have him as your coach here at Ole Miss, for you guys that are from Ole Miss, and I respect Coach Beard a lot.
Classy move by Chris Beard, because he had called him, like Coach Oates said, and was asked if Bediako was going to be on the bench. And he said, no, we're not going to take him on the road and make him susceptible to the things that he's heard on the road since he has been back. We kept him in Tuscaloosa, which also kind of told me that means that Bediako probably will be.
Oh, he'll be on the bench this Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he'll be on the bench. He might be in the mezzanine section signing autographs. I mean, he'll be a superstar.
And I'm sure that Alabama's taking care of him. And, you reach out to a player, hey, come back. We're going to have your back legally and all these other things. I would think that they secured some kind of number.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of whatever the court's decision was, just for the effort to come back. So he'll be fine. But, interesting, he's going to be on the bench.
Yeah, that'll certainly be interesting. But, yeah, that's I don't know. Y'all been doing this longer than I have. Maybe y'all heard of that before. I've never heard of another coach doing that. There's a lot of things you'd be critical of Chris Beard for.
We've seen it during
a class
games.
move right there.
Now, Conrad, you've seen it during games where coaches come and they get on the loudspeaker, and whether it's don't throw things on the floor or, hey, cut that language
you'll
out.
Hear that.
I got my grandkids out here in the stands. You hear it. But, no, it's not that often that, especially these days.
Take a time to write out a note.
Yeah. And you have to remember that, yes, he is 7 feet tall, but he's still a young man or a young adult, Charles Bediako. And that was very nice of Chris Beard to do that. He was obviously in the minority of SEC coaches.
Yes.
He might be the only one other than Nate.
I don't know where that bond was forged between him and Oates, but yep.
Well, it's interesting. Oates brought up the fact that Chris Beard, the final game that Nate Oates coached at Buffalo was in the NCAA basketball tournament, and Chris Beard beat him.
That's where it is.
Was it at Texas Tech?
Mm-hmm. Yep. His last game at Buffalo before he took the Alabama job, he got beat by Chris Beard. So who knows where that relationship was formed. And you just mentioned it, Landrum. We gave examples of how most of the coaches in the SEC, they have vehemently been opposed to Bediako getting an opportunity to play, although all these other coaches' rosters are littered with professional basketball players from Europe.
Including Ole Miss's.
Yeah.
They've got guys from NBA academies, Australia, I think I saw. NBA Academy Latin America. But Chris Beard, he took the other route, and I'm sure that Nate Oates appreciated it, because I'm sure Nate Oates has heard it from, I don't know directly from coaches, but I'm sure word has gotten back to him.
He knows what people are saying.
Oh, yeah. No, he did a podcast with Field of 68 last week, and he was talking about all the other coaches around the country being hypocrites.
It is hypocritical.
I mean, bottom line. All right, let's hear from John Calipari. He's been kind of quiet. He was on the Chuck and Bo radio show, Bo Mattingly and Chuck Barrett, who is the voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks. They do a morning show out there in Fayetteville. And John Calipari called in, and he had high praise for the Alabama judge in the Bediako case.
A medal for stepping up. This isn't right. This isn't right. We can't do it. Greg Sankey stepping in to say, look, the other three commissioners, or four of them, should get together and start making statements when these cases come up. Because you can't have a guy that's on his second marriage with 3 kids playing against an 18-year-old. And I'm going to continue to recruit freshmen. I just can't recruit as many.
Why can we not have that? We have it in professional basketball. Did he have a problem with that when he went and recruited the one and dones, and that poor young innocent kid had to go and traverse the dangerous waters of the NBA and playing against all those grown adults?
Yeah. It's just funny.
We won't talk about Captain Sleaze.
Once again, he says the judge in Alabama deserves a medal for stepping up. You can't have a guy who's on his second marriage with 3 kids playing against an 18-year-old.
No, look.
He has a 21-year-old freshman from a European country on his roster right now.
At any level, any coach at the Power 4 level that comes out and says anything, at a minimum, it is going to be hypocritical.
Yes. So why didn't you even say anything?
Right.
I mean, I know you're throwing red meat to the fan base.
And it's guys that are in the media pool that are asking the question because then he has to answer it.
I just like how, again, his defense. Well, I recruited a freshman. He's 21 years old. So what about the 18-year-old kid from right down the road in Fayetteville that wants an opportunity?
Correct. He has none.
No, because guess what? Coach Cal gets paid to win basketball games, and he's going to put together the roster that's going to win him the most basketball games, whether that's an 18-year-old kid or a 25-year-old.
And look, to be honest, before the Charles Bediako or the Baylor player thing came up, I never really thought about the teams that got the players from Europe. The players from Europe are over there. It's an open pool. You can go and you can get them. But now when it starts getting talked about with coaches and then describing some of these guys and going, what's the difference? It does make you think. If you're being objective, it makes you think, okay, well, why is that right? And you can't do this.
Well, I think we always assumed the international guys, they went to the NBA. Those are the good ones, right?
Yeah. And also didn't know, I learned with Martin Newton when he joined the show on Tuesday, Pat, that how many different levels there are. So it's not just the NBA or their version of the NBA in Europe. No, you got club teams that are a lot of high school teams. So I just want clarity there. I don't want to keep having this discussion.
Are you familiar with Nemanja Jovanovic? Are you familiar with him?
I'm sure I've seen his tape.
He's also known as Yogi.
Oh, Yogi.
He is the UCLA men's basketball director of international recruiting. Now, just think about that title for a second.
That's hilarious.
That's an awesome job.
UCLA men's basketball director of international recruiting. His boss, head coach Mick Cronin, had this to say to the media what he told Yogi what he wants.
Find me the biggest, nastiest vodka-drinking Eastern European you can. That's what I tell Yogi. He's meeting with all these agents from all over the world are coming in, I guess. Mm-hmm. Just find some guy that used to like wrestle bears in Lithuania or something. The Big Ten is no joke, buddy.
Yeah.
Everybody's big.
Yeah.
Everybody's strong.
But we're worried about 18-year-old kids in slap-out Alabama having an opportunity to play basketball.
I like that.
That's a great quote. And he looked miserable saying it just like he always does.
Vodka-drinking Eastern European
The biggest, nastiest vodka-drinking Eastern European you can. Direct quote from Mick Cronin from UCLA.
I listened to the press conference, and immediately before that, he was talking about how all he cares about is making sure he can walk his dog every day because his dog's happiness is the most important thing in his life.
Yes, because it's been raining a lot in Southern California and hadn't been able to walk his dog.
He just goes into that out of that.
I never would have pegged Mick Cronin for a dog person.
Mm-hmm.
No, he seems way too miserable to like dogs.
Yeah.
He
just a
might
miserable
be the most
human
miserable
being.
person on the earth.
Yeah.
So do we see all these contradictions here?
There's a lot.
Which I have proclaimed on this show since day one that they're all liars, every single one of them.
But the Big Ten's big and strong, Pat. They need these.
Sure, go get a
23-year-olds from
nasty
Lithuania.
vodka-drinking Eastern European basketball player. But don't worry about the kid in South Central LA who is going through all of these different all-star camps or AAU basketball teams. Don't worry about him getting an opportunity. Just go find me a very big, nasty, vodka-drinking Eastern European.
Yeah. Because there any way that you justified the decision that you've made, whether it's the NCAA or the judge, well, not necessarily the judge, but the NCAA, or you're one of these coaches, you're going to have to be hypocritical in your defense of wherever your stance is. There's no way out of it. It's like the College Football Playoff Committee.
No, it's why you just wish somebody would
Hunter
eventually
Yurachek was forced to speak out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah, you just wish somebody put their hand up and say, look, it's all messed up. We're trying to do what's best to win. I care about my team and winning basketball games. That's my focus, and I'm going to do whatever that takes until we have guidelines.
Let's just get guidelines for the European players.
Okay, we've got a lot to get into. We're wide open in hour number one. Hour number two, Rodney Orr, Rob Pate. At noon, we'll talk to Chris Vanini from The Athletic, covers college football. A lot of different areas that we will go with Chris, including North Dakota State now being an FBS member. Vince Ferrara from our sister station, the Sports Animal in Knoxville, Tennessee. He will join the show at 12:30. We will talk to him about Joey Aguilar's case that's going in front of a judge tomorrow. Talk a little about Tennessee football, what happens if Aguilar is not available. We'd love to hear from you on the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. It is 10:24 here on Jocks. During the commercial break, I was watching more of the scintillating courtroom drama that is going on in Calhoun County, Mississippi, as Trinidad Chambliss had a medical expert on the witness stand. It's pretty interesting because obviously the NCAA is trying to point out that Trinidad Chambliss back in 2022, when he did have tonsillitis, that he opted not to have surgery. Most people that I know that had tonsillitis.
I had a tonsillectomy when I was a kid.
Well, apparently Trinidad Chambliss did not want to have that done.
Yeah. Everybody that I've ever known that has struggled with that has had the surgery. But, and I don't know what his medical history is, but couldn't you cite, hey, I didn't want to have the surgery?
Maybe you could say for religious reasons.
Maybe religious reasons.
I didn't want to have it.
That would be a loophole. Just a quick search.
I believe in holistic healing.
According to the interwebs, typically tonsillitis at max lasts 2 weeks.
He had chronic, where it kept popping up.
It's chronic.
Oh, like he kept getting it over
kept
and
getting
over
it
and
over and over
Okay,
again.
I got you.
He had an underlying issue that we're trying to get to here. No, I mean, apparently he did.
No, yeah.
But the NCAA is also pointing out that because their defense, or not well, I guess it is defense because they're being sued by him, but the NCAA's defense is that he lost his job because of the competition. He didn't lose the job because of his tonsillitis.
Well, I normally would buy that if I had not just seen him take the college football world by storm this year.
And the doctor, the medical expert that has now being cross-examined by the NCAA, he is saying that in 2022, he had it bad that he could not participate in football activities, but the NCAA attorney has just pointed out that he participated on the scout team.
Yeah, that might be a tough.
That might be a tough sell.
That's
right
a
there.
tough one to get around.
But the good news is you got a judge that wears an Ole Miss shirt.
Yes, at least he does outside the courtroom. He's not wearing an Ole Miss shirt.
Not today.
No, he might be wearing it under his robe.
Underneath.
See, if you're him, do you, and I don't know if this, like, do you pop a couple cough drops in throughout, just like to kind of plant this? I'm still dealing with it. You know, it's been, it's never gone away.
Yeah.
You know, just a couple coughs while you're up there. Just
Then the NCAA would roll a TV in, like the old ones that you and I used to have when we were in school from the library.
Yes.
And they'd put the tape in of the of Trinidad Chambliss in the college football playoff. And
Yeah,
it'd be like, yeah,
I know. It's just I'm that good.
yeah.
I'm that good. I can play through this.
I'm just trying to figure out who started over him that year.
Yeah, that's actually a fantastic question.
And where is that guy now?
Probably selling insurance, wishing he was watching this from afar, wishing it was him.
Okay, it does say here, so this could be the guy. He played in 12 games, Evan Cummins. Interesting.
The doctor also told the NCAA that Trinidad Chambliss never recovered until after January of 2024.
He has a dangling cross earring. That's why he started. You can't top that.
Mm-mm.
And the NCAA attorney is going after the medical expert, talking about Trinidad being incapacitated. And the medical expert has fired back to the NCAA and basically saying that he doesn't understand the word incapacitated. He's a doctor. He doesn't have a thesaurus in front of him. Some good comedy going on.
Is incapacitated, so if we try to define it right now, you're probably looking at the definition, but incapacitated would mean unable, out of it.
Yeah, unable to perform your duty,
Yeah.
whatever that may be. I mean, you completely dead in the water.
Just making sure I had a general idea.
You
of
remember
what
your
the
college
word meant.
days? How many times you were incapacitated after a Friday night
After a Friday night. What are you
or a
talking about?
Tuesday
I was
night?
about to say,
Any
yeah,
day
more
that
like
ended in Y.
Yeah.
Monday or Tuesday is good
The
as
bartender, Pat, things got crazy.
Wednesday was Wine Wednesday.
Was it?
Mhm.
Oh, we had penny wine for friends night. So we get all the sorority girls in there early, and that brought the fraternity guys, and that brought moolah for.
See, that was
for
the life,
daddy.
man.
Well,
You
there
had
you go.
$5 Wine Wednesday, then we had penny pitchers on Thursday, and then you were in the weekend, and it was just a mess.
A big hot mess.
Yeah, it was. It was fun though.
So the thing I just pointed out, because as I'm reading the transcript, as people are posting this, the NCAA is basically saying that if he would have had the surgery, he could have been back at practice within 2 weeks. I mean, that's the point that they're trying to point out.
Well, and my argument would be if it was that bad to where you kept, because that's what happened to me, right? I kept having it, and it got to the point where it's like, just take your tonsils out.
Yeah.
And I was fine with it because I was so tired. That would be my thing for him is, did you not get to a point where you just wanted it to be over with and have the surgery and be done?
But in the cross-examination, the doctor is also trying to shoot back at the NCAA by saying that you are trying to incorporate a very narrow scope into that definition because every patient is different.
Yeah, everybody heals differently.
You know who heals the best? I would say people between probably the ages of like 16 and 21 that are healthy and in their prime.
Actually, the expert said the exact opposite.
Really?
He did.
Yep.
He said that was a question that was asked, and he said kids would handle this 1,000 times better than a young adult. He said the exact opposite.
Because you're gallivanting and you're getting all the cooties from all your college friends.
Yeah, but I mean, he was what, 18 at the time when this happened? 19? I'll trust the doctor.
Well, he is Trinidad's expert. I mean, he's the one that said that it was the exact opposite. That
You come down here with your flashy suit and your NCAA badge. I don't have to answer your questions.
It is Trinidad's expert, though.
Correct.
Just for what that's worth.
Okay, well, we'll keep you posted on what's going over in Calhoun County, Mississippi.
Hit you in the throat with a hammer. See how you like that.
I love the back and forth, unlike we got nothing in Tuscaloosa.
Someone tells me the one in Mississippi is going to be entertaining.
I know, nothing.
You got fans in there.
Is the whole town there? Did they shut down school for the 120 people that lived there?
I mean, it's a county school, so I mean.
The Chambliss trial starts today. Come on, y'all. Let's go to the courthouse.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. Like the whole town.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's go.
Why not? People are taking their kids out of school for ICE
Wear your jersey.
protests.
Yeah.
So why not?
Wear your jersey.
Let's go make a sign.
We need a poster board for a school
Yeah.
project.
If you'd invested in a poster board company, you'd be doing well right now.
Yeah, especially in
Seen
the
a lot
upper
of 'em.
Midwest.
Well, I saw a lot of them in San Antonio. That's
All right.
when we started our Cooper flag must go.
We will get to your text messages and your phone calls. Guess next hour. We'll keep you posted on what's going on with Trinidad Chambliss. All that straight ahead on Jocks.
10:36, active Thursday. We got Rodney Orr coming up at the top of the hour. We'll talk about Charles Bediako. Last night, the Tide a big winner in Oxford. They're in the Pavilion, 61 points in the second half. Latrell Wrightsell, a big part of that. He was hot from the outside. 7 3-pointers made for Wrightsell last night, 6 coming in the second half. The Tide rolls, so we'll talk to Rodney about that. Right now, going on just outside, I'm trying to remember the county there, Calhoun County in Mississippi. Trinidad Chambliss, his case versus the NCAA, arguments being heard in front of a judge, so we'll keep you updated on that. We'll see if Trinidad Chambliss, we're going to see him again in the college football season for 2026. How about our friends at Crafts on 280? Tell you about them with their newest location, in addition to the locations they have downtown, 7th Avenue South, also in Crestline Village. They're on Church Street. But Crafts, they offer just wonderful homemade stuff. That's the best way I can put it, just homemade stuff. Whether it's the chicken tenders that they hand batter, they're going to brine them to perfection where they're tender and they're juicy. All the homemade sauces, the stick-to-your-rib sides, all of that good stuff at Crafts. It's in Mountain Brook, Highway 280, next to the Hampton Inn, right before the Hollywood Boulevard exit sign. Get in there for breakfast in the drive-thru, lunch or dinner, Crafts 280. And always tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
UAB got a big win last night on the road at Tulsa. Tulsa was tied for the American Conference lead. And before the game, I was tipped off that not only, but a couple of UAB players were not going to be able to play last night. One of them turned his ankle. Other one was not feeling well. Head coach Andy Kennedy, before the game on Sunday, started feeling bad. And the last few days have been really, really bad in regards to stomach issues and sound like the flu. I'm not the doctor in Calhoun County, Mississippi, so I can't tell you exactly what he had, but he did not make the trip last night. Richard Cross, he was the coach, the interim head coach last night for the Blazers, and the Blazers just took it to Tulsa. Think about this. Tulsa played UAB about a month ago at Bartow Arena and beat UAB by 22 points. 22 points. UAB was a 10.5-point underdog last night on the road, playing the number one team in the American Conference, and UAB gets the win. Dawan Anderson, career-high 20 points. Evan Chapman, 13 points. UAB now has won 6 straight games in conference on the road, 7 games in a row on the road. That breaks a school record that was set back in 1981, 1982. More importantly, the Blazers are now 7-5 in the American Conference, and now they're putting themselves in a position where the conversation over the next couple weeks could put them in a first-round bye in the American Conference tournament that will be hosted by UAB in downtown Birmingham. So UAB playing really good basketball right now, and you just wonder if Andy will show up to the game this week.
Well, yeah, you got to ask the question. Maybe the best thing about replacing 13 guys, as Andy Kennedy had to do last year with 13 new guys, is every game is a road game. Every arena is new. Well, you feel at home.
Yeah.
But if I was a betting man last night, and without knowing or being tipped off, because that's not right, but if I was a betting man, I would have loaded up on Tulsa. Why would you not?
Let me put it this way. First half, UAB was up by 9 points, and Tulsa was still a 4.5-point favorite. I was watching the live line during the broadcast.
Right.
And I'm like, UAB's up by 9. UAB's taking it to them. What is Vegas seeing here? Because it was a 10.5-point spread when the ball tipped, and UAB was up by 9 late in the first half, and UAB was still a 4.5-point underdog. Up by 9.
Based on what I've seen from UAB on the road, now we actually won a home conference game. They absolutely could run the tournament with what I've seen from the American.
Well, and
they can win. They can win the whole thing.
If they were to do that and get in the NCAA tournament, guess what? Every game's a road game, and that's where you're the best,
that's
right?
A win.
Like that's I feel decent.
Well, think about this: the two teams. So you've got now South Florida and Tulsa. They were tied last night before the game started. South Florida won. Tulsa lost. So South Florida is now in first place. Well, UAB's already beaten South Florida, and they've beaten Tulsa. So the top 2 teams in the American, UAB's beaten. So
you have that confidence going into conference tournament. Yeah.
So they got Tulane coming up this weekend in the Gene Bartow Classic on Sunday, and Tulane won last night against Temple. That was a big win for the Green Wave. So
When do we get Temple? Is that coming up?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Check the Green and Gold report.
yes,
UABsports.com.
yeah. We had some good green and gold news last night. It was big. Softball had a good weekend in Hattiesburg. Basketball team
T-Smart.
won Tuesday night against Memphis.
Yep. Coach Norton, good job.
So
Softball's already started.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball's cranking up.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I know it's soon.
I mean,
But
baseball goes down to play Florida, right?
that is correct.
Yep.
Softball's in Mobile this weekend. UAB is.
I like the idea, and I know this is, but the proposal to start the season later for baseball, I would be in favor of that for college baseball.
Well, like the World Series is like almost football season's about to kick off by
Well,
the
it's
time you
June.
finish that.
It's June.
No, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but
Yeah.
because it is baseball season. So
I just hated growing up and you'd have to start, in high school and stuff. You start practicing like
Well, it's
beginning of January and it'd be 30 degrees outside and it's just, it's not baseball weather.
no,
But you got to do what you got to do.
it's tough enough on those Big Ten schools.
Well, they're all so big and so strong.
They are.
Even at baseball.
According to Mick.
Do they drink vodka?
Yes.
Can they wrestle a bear?
No, they have to go get that from Europe. That was the other thing with that
We
comment
wrestle
quickly.
bison instead.
If you're a European player, or is that a compliment or are you offended by that? Like, that's how he views me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the kind of guy you want, though, views it as a compliment. I don't know.
Big Ten, you guys wrestle the cold. That's it.
That and the wind. Well, flu season is also here, so make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go and find a dealer near you at Trane.com.
Got flu outbreaks going on. Louisiana, I think Missouri is one of those states. Oregon, random.
I mean, it's been bad here.
I had it.
Hand sanitizer.
Don't recommend.
Hand sanitizer. I don't know if the shot's going to help.
Joe Judge, assistant coach, Ole Miss Rebels, has just taken the stand. So the former head coach of the New York Giants has to say about Trinidad and his tonsils. That's next on Three Man Front. It is 10:47 on Jocks. Let's get to the phones at 1-800-239-WJOX. Rodney Orr from Tider Insider and Rob Pate will join us next hour.
Don, welcome in.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
We're okay. We're anxiously anticipating Trinidad Chambliss in the decision. We want to know.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, guys, and it sounds like to me you got a Cousin Vinny courtroom in there.
Oh, what a great movie. Yep.
Wasn't that a great movie? But now, wasn't that based out of Mississippi, guys?
My cousin Vinny was Alabama.
That
It
was
a
Alabama.
fictitious town in the state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But I think they filmed it in
I want
Georgia.
to talk to y'all about the Bediako case, and I got a different opinion on it. But I got a hypothetical question for you. If he would have done this before the season started, I don't think you'd have as much turmoil about it. Do y'all agree with that? If they would have had the case before the season started instead of in the middle of the season?
I think the NCAA would have had an issue with it no matter when it was presented.
Yep. I think the middle of the season
I
just
think
added to the headache for Nate
Correct.
Oates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, as everybody out there, and you guys know, I'm an Auburn fan, so I'm going to disagree with everything Alabama does. But I just think it's wrong doing that in the middle of the season.
But also keep in mind that the Baylor player was not given an okay to play by the NCAA until weeks before Bediako was.
Okay. Now I thought he did it before the season started.
No. No.
What about the Louisville kid?
Now, I can't discuss. I don't know anything about the Louisville kid, but I can tell you the NJ kid in Waco, that was done after the season started.
Okay. Well, I remember when Izzo went nuts about that when that happened. But
yeah, he went nuts on the NJ kid too because he said he was going to call Scott Drew and give him a piece of his mind.
That's what I was talking about, him wanting to call Drew. But it's just getting and it's not just basketball, and it's not just that it was Alabama. I mean, you can't keep on having college sports going to court, and it just. I didn't think I would ever see this, Pat. I really didn't.
You can't keep having it, Don, but unfortunately, I think it's necessary if we're going to move forward and get any kind of resolution with these gray areas or misinterpretation of rules, whatever.
Well, that's just how bad the NCAA's ran. I mean, they don't have no sense on anything, and I agree with you guys. If they're going to make players like these guys ineligible, then they need to make the European players ineligible too. I mean, they got to come up with one rule and just stick to it. I agree with you, Landrum.
Either let them all play or don't let any of them play.
Exactly. That's
either
my
or.
exact point. But I mean, I'm just going to give Conrad heck about Alabama every day. I mean, that's our friendship, and me and Conrad go at it all the time. And I tell you what, I don't know if y'all know or not, but Damien was cussing me the other day when I said something about it texting.
He's cussing you?
Wait, was he cussing you at Social Taco?
No. He was getting mad at me on my text Monday.
Oh. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, anytime I text in, and Conrad to tell you, I think it's funny. Damien will actually be having a conversation with me on y'all's text line when I text him.
Have you ever had tonsillitis?
No, I haven't. But my most painful thing I ever had was getting my wisdom teeth pulled when I was like 12 years old.
Oh,
that was painful. I had mine done in high school, and it was miserable.
Oh yeah,
you still have yours?
It's awful.
Terrible.
And they didn't have the medicine they have now, Pat. I mean, nowadays they'll give you something to take the pain away.
Did you put ice in pantyhose and wrap it around your head? That's what I did.
No, but I tell you what, I ate a lot of
swelling. Yeah, put ice in pantyhose wrapped around your head.
Mom made me mashed potatoes for about 4 days, though. I can tell you that.
Got to be careful that you can't get dry sockets. Got to be careful.
Well, that's when you don't smoke cigarettes after they pull them.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all. Great show as always, and everything. And Molly, it was so good to see you Tuesday.
You too, Don.
Thanks, Don.
All right, y'all have a great day, guys.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate it very much.
Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Always good to hear from Don.
It is. Yes, My Cousin Vinny was filmed in. Most of the locations were in Georgia.
I did not know that.
Yep.
it's interesting. So I told you that Joe Judge is in the witness box right now, and he was listing all of his attributes, and the actual court reporter asked him to slow down because he was talking too fast. They couldn't keep up.
That would be me.
And then
that'd be Jimbo.
You're talking about the stenographer.
Yeah. And then the Trinidad Chambliss' attorney said, well, Coach, we talk a lot slower down here in the South. So just trying to slow it down a little bit.
Oh, golly.
Can you imagine offices around the state of Mississippi? Like, this is kind of like the OJ trial used to be.
Yeah.
I remember me and Paul used to come into work back during the OJ trial, and like literally we would sit down before the show and we'd watch Judge Ito and the whole shenanigans going on in Southern California.
But that
I can imagine that's happening.
No, yeah.
That
Mississippi
trial,
right
it
now.
was the horrible report we had of the murder. Then I can remember where I was when AC and the Ford Bronco was.
Yeah.
And then the entire trial, and then Judge Ito, Christopher Darden, Marcia Clark. Isn't it crazy?
Who they
How
were
long
hooking
ago they
You
were
remember
hooking
all their
up?
names?
They were hooking up.
Yeah.
But I still remember that court case like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if y'all have never seen the FX series they did with Cuba Gooding Jr. on that, it was so good. Very good. Very interesting.
But then you see how the prosecution just botched it in so many ways.
Well, they should have never done the glove.
Yeah, that was a bad move.
That was not a smart decision. See, that's my thing with Trinidad. Like, do you bring him? I'm trying to think, like, something that would be very difficult to eat with tonsillitis, like something really hard and crunchy, and make him eat it, and then he like throws it up in the courtroom because I can't eat it. Like, Judge, I can't do it. I feel like there's clever ways you could make a point.
Well, so it was like putting on the glove.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Where-
Can you gargle?
Correct. Yeah.
Gargle for 30 seconds. You see, Judge? My client can't gargle.
Thankfully, this one only deals with eligibility, not loss of life.
Yes. Is Joe Judge still on the stand?
Ooh. How about this? The NCAA objected to the idea that Joe Judge was a football expert.
Oh, that'll hurt the ego.
I beg your pardon?
It says the NCAA scores somewhat of a win objecting that Judge is classified as an expert with football and quarterbacks. The judge agreed with the NCAA.
Oh.
We saw you in New York, Coach. Wow.